Blog Talk Radio.
This Blog Talk Radio show is supported and paid for by LaCosa Nostra Radio. All expressed views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of LaCosa Nostra Radio and its leadership.
Welcome to LaCosa Nostra Radio. We are here for a double feature night. Looking forward to bringing you Snippets Part 1, as well as a little Flashback Friday, which includes some audio from one of our shows that was hosted by Lizzie and Boo. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy this double feature. Welcome to LaCosa Nostra Radio Snippets, a collection of unique and original poetry from an assortment of international poets from the website allpoetry.com. This show is a production of LaCosa Nostra Radio and will be featured both on Blog Talk Radio and on YouTube. LaCosa Nostra Radio is available on most major apps like iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. LaCosa Nostra Radio is also on Twitter, Instagram, and many more social media outlets. Check out and search for LaCosa Nostra Radio near you. Now, without further ado, here is Snippets.
Faceless devil. Drunken, I wobbled into the cobble. 'Twas lantern lit, sullen. My body battled the bourbon rattle with lesser wit. Succumbing to the unknowing, such horror harrowing me to this state. To sleuth this demon in a gentle suit, bared no fruit. I dared to quit. Each mutilation, evisceration, such ghastly scenes, my eyes filled now with desecration. What was I seeking? Not man, but monster. My thoughts, a superstitious conversation. A witness said they had saw it, but even then 'twas but a rumor. Jack, make a mistake for goodness sake, I exclaim aloud outside this police station. They all were ladies, though whoring they did before their goring. Their throats nigh severed, their organs levered unto their shoulders, left there for storing. But what of Madame Tabram? Was she the first to quench thy thirst, to do the will of Satan? Is it coincidence that each incident happened in the witching hours before morning? I know Whitechapel is no apple of the eye, 'tis for sure. But thy inhumanity is a driving insanity, not I nor they must endure. Now, Jack, what makes thee tick to do the sick deeds that makes even the headsman turn his back? 'Twas it a whore that tore the inside out, that makes ye want to see their blood a-pouring. Fraught with peril my people hath become on a daunting level. This burden to find thee hath left me unsettled, disheveled. But I, Frederick Aberline, fear my rage will unfold untold, and I'll cross that line to take justice of mine own, should e'er I come face to face with thee, you faceless devil.
Death Comes Cold Calling by Becky Frank. In winter's drip, the forest strips, the maples mauled and willows whip. I walk a wooden battleground of fallen limbs and elders down, and twigs that twist the headstone strips. Depleted leaves lie brown and ripped, and moonlight weaves primeval crypts, where footsteps grind a crackling sound in winter's drip. My fingertips now frostbite nips, for graveyard chill I'm not equipped. Flash frozen breath of death surround, the coldest expiration found in winter's drip.
It's called Geometry 21. In our little box room, a perfect square. Rectangle doors and rectangle chest drawers staring at us. Why are they sitting here 24/7? Our triangle mind is also asking the same question. Too obtuse to think about it. Let's leave it on acute. We are not a ruler to decide our fate. For last 1 year, the world is just going round us, all floating around us like a circumference, turning into radius, scrap by scrap, pieces of corona taking us along. I wonder where. End of poem.
Dreams by Garden Delights. Never stop dreaming. Keep imagining that which you hope for. Design new worlds for us to inhabit. Tear down the walls of the mundane. Break on through the ordinary to witness the extraordinary. Dreams are the very breath of life. Imagination supplies the limbs that allow dreams to run, to jump, and spin and fly. Close your eyes and envision a crystalline castle afloat high in billowy clouds, with hanging gardens of rosette blossoming vines and lovely scented spices growing amidst a mist-filled, frequently rainy atmosphere. Every time raindrops sun down the castle's cut glass exterior, the walls sing. Without these visions, all color drains out of the world, leaving a bleak, gray existence. Hold tight to your aspirations. Losing them is like discovering the wind lying helpless on the ground. Wizened, curled up, moaning, its eyes pleading with you for relief. Let your help overflow with creativity. Reinstate the wind and see them all thrive.
New World Order. What do you think of conspiracy theories? Are they really true or one big mystery? Are the Illuminati planning world domination? A one world government, the secret culmination? Are we all in danger of an evil plan, hiding behind the banner of a pentagram? Will the entire world be completely overthrown? Will our flag be replaced with the skull and bones? Or all the world wars simply a disguise to the eventual rise of the Antichrist? Pestilence and disease, are they all a sign? Are all of these stories ultimately benign? I personally believe it's not impossible. Humanity has proven that it's not improbable. Left with the question, how can we stop it? Being told in the Bible by Daniel the prophet, mentioning the 7 seals as a 4 horsemen ride, fulfilling the prophecy of the coming of Jesus Christ. More questions than answers, and so many frustrations. Did the Templar Knights become the Freemasons? Fascinating are the tales of worldwide conspiracies, the New World Order, one world currency. Even if it's true, I'm not scared at all. I would love to be part of a worldwide cabal. I love all of the stories of hidden conspiracies, the New World Order, and secret societies. The all-seeing eye, the rise of the UN. Wait, wasn't the year 2012 supposed to be the end?
Fallen Angel by Jessica. I am a woman. I breathe, see, and feel just like you. I may be a slightly bruised pig, but blink red and green on a squishy and wobbly touch, casting a saintly glow. I am strong enough to carry your corpse to the woods, leave my nest to shower love on a mortal. His outpouring lyrics become my favorite song. I am Malala, fighting for oppressed girls' happiness, enslaved girls' freedom. Got a bullet in my head, only to stir a revolutionary wind. I am Mother Teresa, these old creased hands, lips wrinkled from smiles, soft hands like blooming flowers to give breath a new beginning. Strong women wear their pain like they do stilettos. No matter how much it hurts, all you see is the beauty of it. Tapestries of Olden Times by Joseph Moon. Sunday smiles, loud laughs, framed in color photographs, an oracle of romantic poems, now yellow, opaque, omen. Faded memories on withered walls, my lair where no daylight falls. Unused tickets to Broadway shows, Vienna, Voss, cold the dead road. Cruel curtains with sewn faces of mourners, tongue-tied crickets in webbed corners, rehearsed dirge, hymns over and over, starless night for a lover, a closet full of spiders and high-heeled shoes, surrounded by stale bottles of booze. I gave her smile and ink the blues.
I love poems. Will the sun dry the river? Le soleil asséchera-t-il la rivière? Le sole asciugherà il fiume? Her mind contemplated him, and her wings tenderly flew towards him. But one day he let the coldness and the rain stop her fragile wings from flying near him. The wind stripped the petals of love, leaving only a cherished memory. He promised her not as much as she delivered to him. Sadness returned to her with the wind that blew, and her eyes cried as her heart mourned. The intoxications of words delighted her, yet they led her out of her dream. The wind whistling overwhelmed her and reminded her nothing remains. Day by day the tearing increased, yet the sweetness of words has stolen her forever. Will the sun of the next day dry up the river of her love? Son esprit le contemplait, ses ailes volaient tendrement vers lui. Et un jour, il a laissé la froideur et la pluie empêcher ses ailes fragiles de voler tout près de lui. Le vent défeuilletait les pétales d'amour, ne laissant qu'un souvenir chéri. Il lui a pas promis autant qu'elle lui a livré. Sa tristesse lui revenait avec le vent qui soufflait. Ses yeux pleuraient alors que son cœur se lamentait. L'ivresse de ses paroles l'ont ravi, l'ont fourvoyé, ils l'ont mené hors de son rêve. Le sifflement du vent lui rappelait que rien ne demeure. Jour après jour, la déchirure augmentait. Pourtant, la douceur des mots la volait à jamais. Le soleil du lendemain assèchera-t-il la rivière de son amour? Sole asciugherà la pioggia. La sua amante lo contemplo, le sue ali volarono teneramente verso di lui, ma un giorno ha lasciato il freddo e la pioggia impedire le sue fragili ali di volare vicino a lui. Il vento spogliarsi i petali dell'amore, lasciando solo un caro ricordo. Le aveva promesso non tanto quanto lei gli aveva offerto. La tristezza ritorno con il vento che sfiova. I suoi occhi piangevano mentre il suo cuore si lamentava. L'ebbrezza delle parole la dirigiava, eppure l'hanno portato fiori dal suo sogno. Il fischio del vento glielo ricordo, non resta niente. Giorno dopo giorno lo strappo è ammontata, eppure le dolcezza delle parole la cattura per sempre. Il sole dell'indomani asciugherà il fiume del suo amore in the storm.
You have been listening to LaCosa Nostra Radio Snippets. Check out more LaCosa Nostra Radio programming on Blog Talk Radio and YouTube, and also check out our weekly podcasts, LaCosa Nostra Radio, where you're family. And for the second half of our double feature, we step back in time to October 2020, a show hosted by Lizzie and Boo. And we just want to feature the goddesses of LaCosa Nostra. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to LaCosa Nostra Radio. Here at LaCosa Nostra, we are family. And you can find us all hanging out over at allpoetry.com, which is the largest poetry website in the world. I'd like to give Kevin and his crew a big thank you for everything that they do and for giving us a place that we can come and hang out and share our passion for poetry. Tonight, we are doing an open poetry sort of thing. You bring your favorite poems, but you got to bring your backstory with it. So let me go straight to the phone lines, and I have Sawa. Hello, Sawa. How are you? I'm doing good.
Fine, thank you. I'm here. I'm excited. Excited it's Friday. Thank you for hosting.
Oh, my pleasure.
Waiting for the fun. Not scary.
7:07.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? 7:07.
Irish Rose.
Who am I bringing? Hey, Irish, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How about you?
I am doing good. Thank goodness.
Doing good. Good is exceptional.
And let's go to 269. Who am I speaking with? Hello?
Do you want to switch?
Okay. And 440, who am I speaking with?
That's Stephen.
Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Irish,
Yeah.
everyone.
Let's bring in Rack. Hey, Rack.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, raconteur.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everyone?
And hold on, I have 310 on the line. Who's speaking?
Hi, Lizzie. This is Sticky Heart. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Sticky
Heart.
Hi.
And I believe I let Boo in earlier. Boo, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
There you go. Yep, we can hear you.
Hey.
Hey, girl. It's not
Steve has to go first, just so you know.
Yes, I know. Steven and Kay have to go first. I know that. Yeah. We're good.
Drifts in and out on familiar clouds, speaking softly to me, floating, then falling freely into the deep canyons of my thinking, as if there's a sixth sense that carries you back to me, and I await the revealing. Riding upon words of love, as the hooves of that great horse that once beat the earth to get to me are now unhurt. I wander through the mountains of life, among the green grassy thoughts that grow between them and me, trimming the paths carefully so that seduction by dry words and high grass aren't waiting to abduct my mind and soul again in the season that comes knocking, asking me about dreams of the wing that had a meaning with names. I tuck them away inside my sweater, close to my heart, so they won't depart. I can still read the letters, even fading in the filtered light of the tiring days of life, withering away like last summer's smile. From the deep canyons, I hear you faintly, drifting away on platinum-dried clouds into the dimness of the aching inside, falling away behind the curtains, stand in remembrance of the misty purple rain. Same poem.
I loved this when I read this earlier. This had just such beautiful imagery throughout the entire thing. I mean, it just really just the way you chose your words and you phrased them, that they painted such an image that it literally like physically touches the reader. It's just like I don't know. It was sad. It was heart touching. It was like so many different emotions run through you as you read it. It was just beautifully written. I really just absolutely loved this piece when I was reading it earlier. So they did a fantastic job with this.
Every curdling sheer cliff edge reminds me of the scalps and dust that night in summer. In wild heat of impulses made and wasted in a convertible packed with assholes, we ignored the stars and low chants of the fates, chants that sound an awful lot like mother, and flew the curves of youth to the cliffs. And she died that night in summer, when glass and branches pierced her eye, lung, scalp, her hair shorn 50 yards away, reminded me of a cheap wig I'd worn once to a party, and the dust of it, hot summer dust, clouds of Mulholland filth, settled into the wetness, sprinkling down into wet trails of blood and snot. Looked almost like sweet cocaine rimming her nostrils. But when the car stopped hissing, when everybody stopped screaming, she said, "I don't want to die." So I promised yellow, ugly words of wrath. Yes, I said angels would stitch the wounds. Yet I knew no angels would find us. We'd flown off the valley side of Mulholland. No cell service, certainly no angels. Not in the valley, not on summer nights like this one. Someone climbed back up the cliff, reached the pavement, and stood like an animal, waiting for lights of humans or angels. And today, when I drive that pavement, every turn is death, sting my eyes back to a summer night. And poem.
So now this was an actual experience that you had. That this was a friend of yours.
Yeah, this was, and I think so many people, if they think back to high school, they know someone who died in a car accident. It's a sadly common thing, you know what I mean? And it isn't always you aren't there with them, you know what I mean? But a lot of people like have a similar story, because it's your first reckoning with mortality, really, is when someone dies in a car accident in high school, you know? And like, that's so sad, but it is so true. And we hadn't even been drinking or anything, you know. I was in the front seat. I had a seatbelt on. We were in a convertible, and no one in the back seat had a seatbelt on. So they all flew, you know. And our friend named Tori passed away. Yeah.
You know, and I started reading this, and I did put it in the in your comment. I was like, I really hope that this is not something that actually happened. So I finding out that it is something that really happened, you know, that you experienced, it becomes even more heart wrenching. You started with that, you know, that we all, if we look back, like you said, and we look back at our teenage years, the things that we did because we really just didn't think anything would ever happen. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, you know, your mother tells you don't do that because you're going to get hurt, but we don't listen because, you know, it's just the way teenagers are, and we do insane things, and that we look at now, and we look at our kids, and we go, oh dear God, I hope that they don't do the same thing. And so when I read this, and it just brought me, and I'm like, all the crazy, shit that we ever pulled, and thank God I didn't, I never had any of this happen to me. I had friends that did die, unfortunately, because they OD'd, because they were more, they were so involved in drugs and stuff like that. But so yeah, you look back and you just think of all the little escapes that you made. You escaped death by like inches because it just wasn't your time to go at that moment. And this was just such a heart-wrenching piece. It really was. I mean, you wrote it beautifully, but it is just so. It really just pulls at the heart. It really does.
Oh, thank
you.
I'm
going to ask Sawa. Oh, you're welcome.
Oh
Sawa,
my gosh, I was like, this is really sad. This is truly. You can't forget stories like this. You never will. It just digs deeply in my heart. You took us like almost there with you. Your memory, what happened. I could I was just literally describing how it happened. I could imagine exactly what you're saying. So sad for her loss. You must be terrified and terror and the agony. I can't imagine what you had to go through. I hope no one had to go through this, and God rest her soul and her. I felt I'm gonna cry with you telling the story. Just really affected me deeply. I lost a friend too. Someone killed them drunk, and unfortunately happened. It's just sad, and yeah, I my heart is with you. I'm sure. Just reading this took you back right there. So really, my heart is with you.
Thank you so much, Sawa.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, take a deep breath. It really touched me, his poem. Who said poems in a row? But with a good ending. Okay, this is my favorite poem so far. And it's really long, so I don't think I'm going to read it in French. I'm just going to read it in English. I wrote it in French and translated it to English. My poem. Poetry is the shadow cast by our streetlight imagination. I'm lost in my poems, from stranger to strange things and strangers. I see light when ideas swim in my head, and daydreams. From my dreams, they wake me up. When clouds are hailing words in my head, I don't stop at each one. I wish the flow of floating words heals my mind. I freeze the game of mind. And again, the game of words, and then the rain of words. And I scream as I'm caught in the rain. I dry the words on my paper, and their shadows play with beaming sun. And at sunset, a turning point, while I sleep with my words in my head, silently in my sleep, words rise, shyly to slip in, traveling poetically over the universe, lifting me up like a child searching for answers, over the horizon, under the seas, over the mountains and under the skies. Words are searching for a pen. They find feelings, they find meaning, they find me and I find them. Poems floating far away, abstracted from childhood, lines read profoundly in rainy days, words chanted in sunset, father inspiration and nun's upbringing, French, Arabic, Italian, English, all these languages, and these purposeless stars above my head to choose from. And the leaves of words laying down, fragile words, dying thirsty, waiting to be saved, exotic words, dancing in company of the stars, flirting with my mind, dedicated words fleeing the universe, will not be touched. Days went by in the darkness of the night. The doubtful word threatens the conviction of the poem longing to be paved. Poems refining verses and lines, and revealing and sharing and framing strange feelings, laughing moments, untold stories with ink and pen of true self. The muse whispers in my ear. Fear, fly away. Poems, I love them. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. End of poem.
This was a beautiful piece, so I really just love the way you capture the how our mind works when we're gonna write something. You know, how words just out of nowhere just pop into our head and they just start creating this whole little world of their own within our head, and how your mind processes it, and I mean, I really do sometimes say that somebody whispers, words into my head, because out of nowhere I'm just, and all of a sudden these words come into my head and I'm like, oh, this makes for an awesome poem. And you just like capture that in such a beautiful way. I mean, I always loved your poems, I'm a big fan of yours, and the imagery that you use.
Tila looks like me. Nature is always at its best. With its paint and brush, creates its identical, beautiful surprises. Who's playing tricks with whom? Looking cute, unbelievable, identical twins. End of poem.
I love that picture, because that if you look at the shape of those leaves, it looks exactly like that bird. I mean, nature's amazing. It really, I really do love the things that nature can put out there, and that's just, it's just such a, like when you look at the picture, I looked at it at first, I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. But this is awesome. It was really, it was in short, and she does grasp the whole, what more perfection can you get than being identical? Identical twins. Especially, they're to me, it's, I see, twins in the supermarket, and I always go, I thank God I didn't have twins. I wouldn't be able to tell my own kids apart. I have to, like, I don't know, color code their head or something. But yeah, I thought this was a really good piece. What did you think of it? Oh, well, you read it.
I think this is cute. It's adorable. Like she put herself in the voice, gave a voice to the bird, but her voice, seeing how, looking at the bird, the other bird, and seeing how identical. It's very cute. I love nature like you. I just can stay there forever. Nature is always the best. It's absolutely true. With its paint and a brush, creates identical, beautiful surprises. And so many, like when you look at flowers, not only birds, the flowers, sometimes the clouds, and you see so much similarity. For me, I feel like I don't know if she meant really identical, but she meant another bird. I think that's what she meant. I'm not sure. Probably like here's another bird, another flower, and that's so true. Like so many flowers, they look alike, and so many the same time look alike and the same time different. It's just beautiful, and I think that's really adorable. Little poem, as you said.
Awesome comment.